Good morning. Today is the 25th of March 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan and watch list for today. Okay, so first let's have a look at what news we've got today, and we can see we've got Fed speaking half an hour ago, and we've got Fed speaking again at 10:30. We've got home sales, so 10 a.m. just be a bit wary, and 10:30 we could see a bit of market movement. It's only a 4-day week this week, so potentially we may have a bit of a stranger week trading, and so just keep an eye on risk. You could see some strange swings in the market. So just looking at the chart, I've got some levels, not many great levels I'm afraid, but the only ones I can see, the ones we've been watching for a while. And let's just go into ES. This is the 1 hour time frame. So the only level I'm really watching for is one we've been on watch for a few weeks now, and that is coming into these two areas here for a bounce. So I'm looking for if we can break down into the 52.50 area, 52.53. I'm going to be looking for a bounce. If we break through this area of demand, then I've got another area I'm watching at 52.31 down about here, and it's also the bottom of this trend line as well. So I kind of got two lower trend lines, and the more recent one put in by these two pivots, and we've got the one that goes back to October 2023. So I'm keeping an eye on that area. So it kind of gives us a region to watch. So this entire region here is an area we can watch for a potential bounce between here and there. But whether we get there today, I don't know. So what I'm really watching for, this is my A plus setup, will be for a bounce. Down here we've got the rising, this purple line is the rising 200 moving average as well, and we're coming into this area of demand. So that's why I quite like 52.50 for a bounce, and that's probably the only decent level I'm watching today. As for rejections, you can see we've got this bit of an hourly downtrend setting up or formed, and as we are potentially in this hourly downtrend, I'm watching for the pre-market high area for rejection, which happens to be off of this trend line as well. So also note that the 50 moving average, this red line here, is starting to curve round, and we are below the hourly 50. Kind of means we can be looking for more shorts while we're below it, but we're still in a daily uptrend, and it's a 4-day week, so I'll be a bit wary on anything going against the trend. So to recap, probably only two levels I'm watching for a bounce down at 52.50 down to 52.40, this area, and it's a bounce off of this top trend line, and that's the trend line that goes back to October 2023. And then I'm going to watch for a possible rejection coming off of the pre-market high and off of this top trend line, and that's at 52.90, 52.93, and obviously we've got the 5300, which is psychological number. So while we're on the subject of psychological numbers, let's go into SPX, because you can see a bounce area down at 5200. That's the area I quite like. So if I see it come into 5200 on SPX, I'll be looking for a bounce. That's a similar area we just looked at on ES. It's the tops of pivots. We've kind of got this zone as well. So it's this entire area we can watch for a bounce. And I'll be looking at ES for a long entry. And that's kind of the area. 5200 is like a psychological number, but we've got the trend line also down at 51.76. So this entire area we can keep an eye on SPX for a bounce. So back to ES, kind of coincides in a similar area to SPX as well. Okay, so looking at SPY next, same as ES, but I like SPY better because of this double top, and it's more of a defined hourly area, an hourly level. So that's 518 through to about 520. 518 to 524 bounce on SPY, and again same as ES, if we can come back up into this area here we can watch for another rejection. We've rejected it once, twice, 3 times, and maybe at the pre-market high we can watch it for a rejection there as well, and that will be 521, and that's a higher risk. 521.50, 521 for a rejection. So 521 rejection, higher risk because obviously we're quite close to it, and it's against the main uptrend on the daily. NQ, it's not many great levels that stands out. The only one I can see is the bounce off of this area here. It's an area of confluence. We've got tops of candles, tops of candles, tops of candles. We hit a bottom there, a top, kind of bottoms and tops here, tops, bottoms, bottoms. It's kind of an area of confluence. So I'm kind of looking for a bounce in that area, 18,350 to about 18,400. So we're looking at this area here for a bounce, and that'll coincide with the ES. We've got a few pivots. We kind of, on Friday I was watching this area as well, and kind of we broke through that in the pre-market. I've removed that as too close to the market open. So the only one I will consider will be the bounce, and we got the off of this 20 and this 200 moving average as well. This is this purple line. And then looking at the bigger picture, the daily on Nasdaq. We're not putting any new highs. We've got this area of confluence just there. So 18,000 round number. If we get down to that area in the week, we can look for a bounce, and that's off of this 50 moving average as well. You can see we kind of bounced once, twice. You could say there's a bounce there 3 times, and we haven't been anywhere near it until recently. And last time we broke through was back in, was that November, September last year. So kind of, we're kind of far away from there, but keep an eye on 18,000 psychological number for a bounce. Going back to the hourly again. Just kind of the bottom of this area. We've got quite a few things on watch. Let's just clear some of these, make it a bit clearer. So kind of this is the area we're watching for a bounce as well. Okay, looking at Qs next. Very similar. Let's make a new adjustment. Prefer that area there. There's more touches. So we've got, it almost touched there, but it definitely did there, 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 in all these places. So I kind of quite like all these multiple touches of this hourly level. Hence why I'm going to wait for Qs to get down to 440 to 450 area for a bounce. So this entire area we can watch for a bounce. We've got the 200 moving average, the purple line just below as well, and we've got a bit of a void coming down. So if we have a big move down, we can watch it for a bounce. Projection wise, potentially we can look at pre-market high through to Friday's high, 446 for rejection, and that's just because it's got the most touches. Got bottoms, and we've got a big gap fill there, up into that gap, and we kind of wait for it to come back up to that area. So kind of watching 446 to 445 for a rejection. That's higher risk as well. It's still against the daily trend, which you can see is clearly in an uptrend on the daily. Okay, so SPX we just looked at. Yeah, the only place, the best place is down here at the bottom of this trend line. So if we can come back down, we can watch this area for a bounce. 5180. We've got 5200 psychological number as well. Let's just put in that alert above 5200. And then we potentially can watch pivot there for a bounce as well. So 5200 I'll be on alert, looking for a bounce, be watching ES for the bounce. If we can get down into 5180 to 5175, then bottom of this trend line, and there I'll be looking for a bounce as well. And that's it really. Let's look at gold. Oh, look at this. We had this trend line in place last week. Kind of broke out of the trend line. Come back and it's retesting that area again now. And we can potentially look for a break and retest over Friday's high, this level here, that high. So if we break out, come back down and retest, and then we can look for a long. That's looking pretty decent for a buy setup. If you want a higher risk, you can take it on the breakout over Friday's high. That's the only level I can see, nothing else. We've got a bounce area here as well. If we do sell off and come back down, 21.50 for a bounce, or we watch 21.80 for a break and retest long. That's the only two areas I can see really. How about that for a decent break above? Didn't really come back for the retest. The retest been great, back down on that trend line. Next is crude oil. So we came in, we tested this level 80.38 a few times. Tops and tops of candles, kind of here bottoms roughly, or area confluence. Bottoms, bottoms, bottoms again. It's created a new. And we need to either break out of this area, 81.45, or break down from this area. These are the two key areas to watch. That area there or that area there. So if we can get back down to 80.50 to $80, we can look for a potential bounce off of the trend line down here, or we can look for a break and retest of 81.46, 81.50, and with a target. Just looking at volume, there's a little bit of volume there, around 82 is a target, kind of between these two areas. So target 1, which is 81.80, 82, target 2 is this defined area there, and that can also act as a rejection area as well if we get up there. Next is RTY, which is the Russell 2000. Your inverse head and shoulders down here. I can't really see much unless we get down to 20.50. Even this level one is okay, but we've kind of broken through it. We could come back and retest that area of confluence. And we've got bottoms, you know, tops of candles, bottoms there. So there's a decent hourly level. Tops there, tops here as well. And we can probably watch for a rejection up in this area as well. Quite a lot of top and tail. So if we get back up to 21.30, we can look for a rejection. That's high risk. In fact, I wouldn't play that. I'm going to get rid of that one. Can't see a rejection. I can only see bounces, and the best bounce area will be at 20.50, and we've got a high risk one at 20.75. Look at the daily. You can see we've been in this zone now for some time. We kind of can't get out of it. You can probably have this area, so it makes it hard to go long when we're far away from where we are, ranging between this area on the daily. But we are in the top half of this area, a little bit different to the rest. You know, potentially we could be doing what we saw here. We put in a full range of this. So if we could break out above this boxed area, 21.20, we can look for a break, retest, and push back out. And if we were to find a level, it's going to have to be that point there. It's not too far where we are now. and let's do the previous pivot. So 2120 break and retest long. This is the daily, so if we can find an entry on the hourly. Yeah, so we've got to get above this area. So if we can break it, let's fine tune it now. 2130 break and retest long to finally get out of that zone we've been in for a long time. I didn't even look. 2020, no, hang on, sorry, 2022. So we've been there for almost 2 years. That's it. I can't see anything else really. Let's look at YM. Kind of like the bounce down here. Same as last week. 39,700 for bounce, and I can't see any rejections. And if we sell further off, then potentially that level as well. 39,430 as well for a bounce. That's it really. Let's look at Bitcoin quickly. Interesting to see this on Bitcoin. So we hit a high, kind of putting in this. Hard to see where you put it there. And you can see we kind of sold off. We've broken out now through the trend line. Volume, quite a lot of volume as well, so there's definitely some interest up here. If I really want to see it come back down to this area for a bounce. But you could also say we're seeing a left shoulder, a head, and potentially a right shoulder coming in as well for head and shoulders pattern. This pattern there, kind of, and then the neckline is obviously that area here. So 60,000 neckline to 58,000. Let's see how this goes in the next few days, or we could just be legitimately breaking out again. So no decent levels yet. Let's see how this forms over the next few days. There's a halving event coming up soon as well, so it'd be interesting to see how that affects Bitcoin. And that's it. Just quickly look at ES, see if it's changed in the last few minutes. Not really, kind of hovering in the same place. So just recap the levels for ES again. So I'm looking for a bounce down in this region, 52.52, but 52.50 is a psychological number. So if we come back down to here, I'm looking for a bounce. It'd be off of this trend line. Let's get rid of that one as well. This is just a small one for the weekly trend line. Sorry, this is the weekly trend line. We broke through. We couldn't hold below it, so it's still, I would say, still valid for now. So look for a bounce at 52.50, or I'm looking for a rejection at 52.92, 52.90, and let's only look for a rejection because we'll be at the top end of this trend line. So looking for it coming to that area for a rejection, and I know if I'm wrong, because if we break out, then we can change our perspective. Maybe look for a break and retest long of pre-market high. So basically, we can watch for two levels here. We can look for the breakout of this bear flag or this bull flag, or if it honours this channel or this trend line, then we look for a rejection in that same area. Higher risk for the rejection, probably slightly better probability for the break and retest because we're in a daily uptrend. But really, I'm watching for a bounce around this area. And that's it. Okay, thank you for watching. Next up will be the live stream of order flow, which looks a bit like this. And that is where I'll be looking for my reversal points. I'll be using order flow to work out where I'll be getting in. This bottom chart is the 2-minute candlestick, just normal candlestick, and this is the cumulative delta divergence. So what I'm looking for is something what we're seeing now. We're seeing price going sideways or price coming down, and we're looking for divergence going against the price. So that shows me we've got more aggressive buying coming into the market right now. And if you look, we had red candle there, and we had green, quite a lot of positive aggressive buyers, and that translates into these footprint charts. So we look for bottom, a reversal, could be at a reversal point, pre-market low, not one I would take, but lack of sellers down in the bottom, down in the bid. You can see more lack of sellers here, so potentially we could see a reversal. And we normally see quite a few bigger orders. This is a pre-market volume. But what I'm looking for is bigger buyers up here if we're going to see a bounce. Kind of that's where I'm looking for, bigger buyers. You can see big buyers there, big buyers there, big buyers there. Either that's aggressive buying but we're not getting much follow through, so it could be limit orders triggering for a short, or it's aggressive buying and the sellers are equal to it at the moment, but the divergence is kind of pointing that we've got more aggressive buying and selling. So that this is going up, you can see the price is coming down. But it's about to open in a few minutes, so I wouldn't take anything just yet. Just let it play out. But let's go back into the main screen again. Let's just clone this trend line. Yeah, there's only a couple of touches. We're not quite really touching the bottom. I thought it might be something a bit more set up, but potentially we could use that as a channel. Keep an eye on it. We're at the bottom end of that channel technically, so we could be seeing a lot of buying coming in right now, but it's an hourly downtrend, makes it difficult, and the big watch area is around at this level, so I don't really want to go long there. I'd rather wait to go long down here purely because of the hourly levels. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, and the live stream will be up straight after this, and that's the live stream of the order flow.